Everyone, Delta, well, I don't know if you can actually hear me. Hello everyone, Delta 1 here. I do not know how the audio sounds with this. I have not done a audio on the motorcycle in a long time. I haven't done motor vlogs in a really long time. I'm currently attached to a jumper box for power because this is the only camera that has power. Well, actually, it's the only one that had enough power. I'm just plugging it in just in case because I wasn't sure if this would have enough power, but since also this camera has a mic plugged into the back of it, it doesn't look retarded with a charging plug coming out of the back of it. But buckle up everyone, this is going to be a long one, so we will be giving you some visual scenery. Right now I'm going to be on my motorcycle that I rescued from somebody that I grabbed the wrong set of gloves. Anyone else keeps gloves around once they're tore to use for other stuff? Probably the only one that buys the exact same colored gloves though. Anyway, but we're on a motorcycle I sort of rescued from somebody that broke it in half. That is not figurative, that's literal. But the reason for this video, alright, so I got contacted by a subscriber, very upset, a very upset individual, because Copart is not letting you go look at vehicles anymore because of the pandemic. So you have to buy basically sight unseen. Okay, so someone went and bought a Ram just like mine that was flood, oh Jesus Christ, that was flood damaged. Well, he watched some of my videos. Obviously, since he's a subscriber, he subscribed. But he watched some of my videos, and by following mine, you know, I won't say instructions because they weren't instructional videos, but he followed my advice that I had on videos and was really upset because he feels like he's in a hole because the truck is still not operating as mine did. So he's wondering if I did steps that I didn't put on video. No, I didn't do any additional steps that I didn't do on video, but after I explained to him what it was that I did, I got an apology from him because he didn't quite understand what I was talking about. And once he finally got what I was talking about, let's shift down to get the RPMs down. But once he finally got the understanding of what I was talking about and what was actually going on with his truck, he said he felt stupid that he got upset because it was all his fault for not understanding what I did. Because in the video I didn't tell anyone to do a specific thing. Oh shit. What I did was I told him what I did, not telling him what to do. So I will actually go into this video and explain what you can do if you come up in these situations. Alright, if you get a flooded truck, especially the 4th gen Ram like I have, 2014, I'm going to stick with my generation because this is the only one I know about because I spent like a month or so bringing this truck back from the death. Essentially what's going on, turn the hazards off. Essentially what ended up happening was he bought a truck just like I did, sight unseen, and the truck was flooded. He turned it over by hand, he did a compression test, everything was good to go, everything is rocking and rolling, but he can't get the electrical system to work. He took it to the dealership did exactly what I told him that the dealership did to me. They said they would not diagnose it without replacing the entire electrical harness, which would be about $4 grand or so. Well, he was upset because he thought he followed everything that he followed everything that I said to do, but he didn't understand what I said. And literally when you get in these situations, when you have a flooded vehicle, 90% of the time, you have to change electrical components. Now, on the 4th gen RAM of my generation with my electrical system, you change any one part, you have to go through a few steps because it all communicates with each other to run the vehicle. Now, in my case, my computer was fine, but not my RFH module, not my body control module, and not my ignition system, not my ignition module. None of these were any good. So I had to replace these. But again, he doesn't want to spend a lot of money on a vehicle that he doesn't know runs yet. So there's only two ways of getting around this, and I'm going to explain this because when I explained it to him, he understands now. Every vehicle, when they have a security system, has an immobilizer that has to have 2 steps to it. At least 2 steps. There can be more, but you have to have at least 2 steps to it. You have to have a key that needs to communicate. Jesus Christ. You have to have a key that communicates with the vehicle, and you have to have something in between the computer and the key to tell the vehicle, okay, this is an authorized person to be using me. Start. That's the initial, actually that's the overall operation of an anti-theft system. Well, on the Rams, what is going on over there? On the Ram, you have multiple of these. On the Ram, the body control module, the RFH module, in some cases the actual ignition switch, but also the computer all has to have the exact same code in it in order to work. So, if you have a flooded truck, usually the flooded trucks usually get some form of the ignition system, which his did, just like mine did. And he replaced the body control module, but he did not replace the RFH module, and he replaced the computer because the computer was underwater. And I asked him if he replaced the RFH module, because if you replace the RFH, if you had to replace the computer because it was underwater, I'm gonna get off the highway. No, I'm gonna go the long way. But if you had to replace the computer, you had to replace the RFH module, because the RFH module is lower than the body control module and the computer. So he didn't replace that. That was his first issue. Now, there's 2 ways of getting around this. When you have electrical, you can either go through component testing or component replacement, or you can replace everything like I did. I replaced everything on my truck that was inside of the truck, including the ABS module, but I replaced all my electronics and my wire harness inside the truck. Everything from the instrument cluster, the radio, the RFH, the body control, the occupant restraint module, the ABS module, I think I said the RFH module. I replaced all of those. The only thing I didn't replace is the TCM and the computer, or the PCM. That's the only thing I didn't really replace as far as computer wise. There's like another, oh yeah, I also replaced my door modules, the left and driver's side door. I also replaced those, but that's beside the point. But once you go into replacements, like he did everything he was supposed to. The only thing he didn't replace was the RFH module, but even if he had replaced that, he would still not be able to operate the truck to even go further in checking and testing. But when you go through that kind of steps to replace it, there's only 2 ways of getting out of it. You either have to take it to the dealership and get it programmed and program it yourself, or still got to get the new components like he did, and you can program it yourself. Well, here's the problem with that. The dealerships do not like to, if you're really close with that dealership, yes, you can probably get that done. But dealerships don't generally like to do additional stuff when you actually need to do something specific. They don't like to do that. They want to diagnose the way they want to diagnose. 1, for liability reasons, and 2, for money. But that's your first option. Program it yourself or have them program it. But you're going to go through a lot more hoops having them program it. Not to mention you have to tow the vehicle to them and if they can't get it, tow the vehicle back. Well, the option number 2 is the option that I did. I did option 1 and option 2, but I did option 1 second. I didn't do it first. I did option 2 first because it's cheaper. Because if I do option 2 first, which is go to the junkyard and get your parts, if you do it that way, you have a better chance of not only spending less money, but also finding out what's actually wrong. And the reason I did option 2 first was for that reason, to find out what components in my truck were not operating. Now, here's the thing, doing number 2, going to the junkyard, can bite you as well, because some Rams do not come with the same wiring, which means they don't all come with the same modules. So you have to, now trim level, from my understanding, as far as my year, does not matter. I'm pretty sure it does to a little degree, but they said it doesn't. But what you have to make sure is that the vehicle you get your parts out of also has to have exactly the same parts in yours. Now, if your vehicle has more optional parts, if the vehicle you're taking the parts out of has more options than yours, that's fine, because most of those options won't be used. Now, on the other hand, you will have all these check engine light codes and all these alarms and stuff for stuff it don't have, but you'll be fine. Please don't tell. Okay, you're staying on that side. But what you'll end up having is you'll have to get a vehicle, like for our Rams, the 2014 Rams, you can also get these trucks without an RFH module in it. I'm thinking that's the 2013-2014 crossover when they changed over. If you go to the junkyard, you have to get everything from that one truck. You have to get the computer. Well, you don't have to actually get the computer. If you're replacing the computer, well, I'm sorry. If you want to start the engine, you have to get the computer. The computer has to be the exact same, not the same model. Now, the same model can also go to a different truck with a different engine. So you have to get one out of the same engine that you have. You have to get the exact same RFH module out of your truck, out of that truck. That you have to get the key that comes with that truck. You have to get the ignition module that comes with that truck. You've got to get the body control. Well, the ignition module, the little thing you put your key into, that might not have to get changed. Again, that depends on if your truck has an RFH module in it. If your truck does not have the RFH module, you have to have that ignition from that same truck. If it does have an RFH module, you have to get the body control module from that truck, the key from that truck, the RFH module from that truck, and the something else. I think those are the only 3 things you need. The body control module, the key, and the RFH module. Oh, and the computer if you're trying to start the engine. Now, the reason I say and the computer if you're trying to start the engine is because you don't necessarily have to start the engine to get the truck to where it needs to be. If you're replacing the computer, you don't need to get a new computer. You don't need to get the computer from that truck. All you need is the body control module, the RFH module, and the key from that used truck. This will allow the truck to fully communicate with every module on that truck as long as the truck that it came out of had it. That's how I did mine. I got mine out of an SLT model, and I got mine to replace everything in it. And it's literally the simplest thing that you can do with that is go to the junkyard, go to one particular truck, make sure it has everything, all of the parts that you have, all the parts that match up as far as component wise, and take every part of that immobilizer system out of that truck, plug it into yours. It will work as long as you keep all that stuff the same. And that's how I got mine. Now, obviously, I still have that immobilizer that went to that truck. I don't know if I have the key anymore, but I still have that, which I don't think that would matter anyway, because I don't know. But I have that immobilizer. But initially, what ended up happening was that I only used that immobilizer to test a lie that the dealership told me, that the truck could not be programmed that there's something wrong with the with some other component. With, you know, the RFH module in the back, they said there's something wrong with it. But that wasn't the problem. The problem was that when I took the truck up there, the truck did not have any, it didn't have any seats in it. And them getting in and out of the truck without the trim and the seats in it, they ripped and shorted out the comm wires for the CAN bus system. So after I fixed that, I was able to see that there was nothing wrong with my truck. And after I got the appropriate key that went to my year, I was able to take all of the old stuff out from the original truck, or from the old truck, and put in brand new stuff, program the RFH module and the key, and using the code that comes with my truck from the factory, and I was able to program that. Your first step in getting any of this done is you have to get the RFH module programmed. You can program anything on the truck after the key is turned on, but you cannot turn on anything until the RFH module is turned on. Once the RFH module is turned on, you can start programming anything you want on that truck. But you have to get the RFH module and the key programmed to each other in order to work. Because my problem was that I had a key and the RFH module programmed, but I didn't have the body control module programmed because they said they couldn't program it. Actually, they said they programmed it, but it was never programmed. So the RFH module would work, but the biggest issue that I had was that the RFH module told the computer, okay, you can let the truck run, you can turn accessories on, but it didn't know where to send the power. So those are your only two options with that. Program it yourself, send someone, or take it to the dealership and they program it, or go to the junkyard and get all of the immobilizer parts of this equipment. Depending on your year or what it's equipped with, the immobilizer can just be the key, the body control module, and your wind module, the wireless ignition module. Or it could be, like in my case, it could be the computer, the ECM, the body control module, the key, and the RFH module. You have to get it all, not just one. And if you're going to replace every new component, you have to start from scratch with programming. It's mandatory. It's got to. And we're starting this vlog exactly where we're starting this vlog exactly where we, well, not exactly, we're still on the road, but that's what I had. So I'm gonna see if I can ride a little bit more before the rain hits, which it's hit or miss right now. But peace.